Thank you. So we are here to present you EdTech Lithuania. It is what it sounds, So you probably naturally get, we had FinTech Lithuania and similar initiatives. So EdTech Lithuania began with Vladas Lasas coming to a few friends, actually gathering a few of EdTechs and asking, what will we do about education? And we were like, yeah, we are already doing, we are all in, we are changing the world, etc., with our solution and other things. But Vladas kept on pushing, really, like, what will we do? It's the time of opportunity, and likely the biggest opportunity of a decade, because we are on a precipice of change in education system due to this pandemic. So what will we do? And we started thinking, actually. We gathered together, we had the initial meeting, pre-launch meeting, and exchanged a lot of ideas. And this presentation is actually a result of that meeting that shares our views and aspirations of what we could achieve. So first of all, there is no option not to have technology in education. The days are gone. And actually, COVID situation has made it to happen. So we had a game-changing moment in EdTech industry now, and we actually can seize the opportunity. It is expected that education spending on technology in 2025 will be around 5% of the total spending. This sounds like not much, but if you think this is actually spending on the management of education process, not actually on all the teachers' salaries and everything else. This is actually changing the way we organize education. And for EdTechs, this says that the industry will grow in double digits, and there's a real economic opportunity that we can seize. Actually, not many countries have started doing this, and we can be one of the leaders. The same case as it was with the FinTech and FinTech Lithuania initiative, we can have the same or even better results with EdTech. And actually, education is one of the least digitized industries, ahead only of construction. All the other industries have more technology use than education. Therefore, it actually creates a huge global opportunity that we can seize, and it actually creates a huge opportunity for Lithuania as well to use what it has the best, the technology and people advanced in technology, and use it to solve our own problems in education sector. So we came together, a few of the EdTechs and a few of the community support partners, and launched this initiative. But actually, EdTech ecosystem in Lithuania is much, much wider. I just put a few logos of organizations that are working in the EdTech space. And if I know that in Estonia they have around 66 EdTechs, I think in Lithuania we have at least 30. But some of them are very strong, some of them are very promising, and we need to foster that community. We are not starting from zero, we already have a community, and we want to bring it together to act on the problem. So why EdTech Lithuania? Why we have decided to launch it? First of all, there were many lone warriors in EdTech space trying to do something good. We understood that if we unite everyone under a common umbrella, we can actually achieve much, much more. We can be representative of the technology sector, we can have a constructive dialogue with the government, with the teachers, and involve everyone. It's not our initiative, it's a common initiative where we want everyone to join in. Secondly, we see a huge opportunity to make Lithuania one of the global frontrunners in EdTech. And we can seize it. People are already working on it. We just need more support. And we can achieve a sizable amount of contribution to GDP. And thirdly, it's a grassroots initiative. It's not top-down, it's bottom-up. EdTechs that are already working came together to increase their impact. And lastly, we see an opportunity to make a huge progress in Lithuanian education through technology, through the EdTechs. Therefore, we couldn't sit silently when there were disruptions, and we went into trying to help Lithuanian education with solutions. And now, with this EdTech Lithuania, we want to have a constructive dialogue on how we can do it. So, EdTech Lithuania has 3 goals. First of all, is to make Lithuania an attractive place for EdTechs and education innovators. And this starts at a very grassroots level, where first of all, you have to have a community of friends that are working in the same field. Then you have to have the conditions that allow you to act, such as favorable laws or regulatory sandboxes. Secondly, we want to create a change in Lithuanian education through EdTechs. We have all those solutions that can be directly applied today to education problems in Lithuania, but we need to bring them there. We need to have a dialogue to show that they can add value. And lastly, we want to promote EdTech Lithuania and grow it internationally to help its members to export the creations we have made, and also know-how that we can create in Lithuania by applying those EdTechs, and in this way to contribute to the country's GDP. And everyone is welcome to join EdTech Lithuania. We have launched the website, so you can go to edtechlithuania.com and fill out the form to join in. So whom we are trying to attract? First of all, EdTechs, join as the core members. You will be in a community of like-minded people. Secondly, we also need business angels and venture capitalists so that we can grow this ecosystem. Thirdly, we need EdTech adopters, such as teachers, pupils, parents, students, instructors, everyone who want to adopt EdTech. And we know that there are many out there who are willing to try those new EdTech solutions. We want to gather this community so that we could effectively pilot EdTech solutions and also have a dialogue on what are the pressing problems that we could solve with EdTech. Lastly, we want to attract EdTech and education experts to help our community of EdTechs and also help us to find the place in the entire policy landscape of what issues we could tackle. So this is an open initiative where we invite everyone. And now I'll transition to Vladas, who will outline more of the goals. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Danielius. So, as you see, it's not rocket science. We just need to do it. And everyone, each of us, are stakeholders very much interested in success of that initiative in very broad definition. It's not only technology. It's people who are innovating, who are doing somehow differently, who are trailblazers like Ozo Gymnasium, not asking for permission to do distant learning, but just doing it. So we need support from all stakeholders, personally, institutionally. We are covering that in this slide, that what is most important to have from the government, what actually we did like 10 years ago, sorry, like doing with the space initiative 10 years ago. Nobody believed that it is possible in Lithuania to launch satellites and be a space country. Now we have one of the leading microsatellites, nanosatellites companies based in Vilnius, or many other things like initiative to have fintech in Lithuania. 5 years ago, nobody would believe that Vilnius can be next to Singapore on the ranking of the fintech environment. So we need support and belief and confidence from the institutions to do that. We can do that. We just do the sandbox to experiment in education, to provide on the scale of municipality or school to test new innovative education approach and to move forward, to measure and to scale up if it is okay. So piloting grants and network of pilots and sharing the information about that and adopting as fast as possible these things would lead us to the boom of the EdTech, ed innovation. We need accelerator. We know that there is coming in 2 months the startup weekend at Vilnius University for the EdTech. And you know, 10 years ago, mano drabužiai, Milda Mitkutė, with that crazy idea about what came out, is now the biggest unicorn based in Lithuania. So we can do that kind of impact around EdTech as well. We just need to put together EdTech fund. That's not only government, that's people like everybody involved in education. Especially I am inviting business angels to be part of that and to invest into the very important area, which is actually more impactful for the Lithuania and the world comparing to the same fintech. So let's have a bold vision and do what cannot do Finland, for example. They are good at education right now on different scaling, having top positions. We can make a biggest, most impressive leapfrogging from positions where we are, just even in the less than decade. In 5 years, we can see a huge difference if we look at that as we can do right now. Environment, people, the mood, network, everything is there. So achieve something even better than we achieved in basketball. The education is real moonshot. It's not easy, but we are not taking easy way. It's very important thing to achieve. Let's do that. You see EdTech gathering at the library, and teachers are very enthusiastic about that. Let's be us the same. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, and I'm happy to announce that we will have the author of the book Moonshots in Education in our second session. But before we move on to the break, I would like Vladas Lasas, advisor to the President for Economics and Innovation, to comment a little bit on this EdTech initiative in terms of in relation to FinTech, what you've been working on, and maybe what EdTech community should consider from the experience of FinTech.
So since I was asked to reflect on what can we do as a country to get another crown jewel in EdTech, as we did in fact in FinTech, I listened very attentively to your discussions and reflected about it. So as you may know, in FinTech, in as little as 4 years, we achieved tremendous results. we became one of the leading jurisdictions in the EU. In number of e-money licenses and payment institution licenses, we are #1 in the European Union. The growth of this sector has reached 40% per year. Even according to Financial Times, Vilnius outranked Singapore, outranked London, outranked Israel in attracting of FDI in tech startups. These results are tremendous, and probably if you would have asked the people behind this initiative those several years ago, I doubt they would be aiming for such a high result, but it happened. So can we do the same for EdTech? Globally, EdTech investments since 2018, they reached the breakthrough. So in 2 years, in 2018 and 2019, globally, investment in EdTech outranked in numbers the investment that was made in the previous 20 years. So it really shows the importance. We really have a momentum now. And as Danielius mentioned before, the growth of EdTech sector is planned to be double-digit. So, as Aušra asked in the beginning, could we enter this race? And when entering this race, could we end up in a winning place? So from what I heard in your discussion, I can say that we are in the right track. And in order to achieve a lasting change in organization, in life, or in a country, the basic principles are the same. So let me reflect on the preconditions for the lasting and sustainable transformation. Firstly, there has to be a trigger. There has to be a real problem to solve. And in Lithuania, with education, I would say we really have a fundamental issue that has to be addressed. So if we look at the statistics, in education results will rank below the EU average, even when our expenditure devoted to education as a percentage of GDP is higher than the average of the EU. Even more than looking at the competitiveness of the country, World Economic Forum looks at the skill set of the graduates, and here the numbers are really, I would say, shocking. We rank 82nd. 82nd among 141 countries. Having in mind these results, the President of the Republic of Lithuania set the ambition, I would say a very unprecedented ambition, to revolutionize education and make Lithuania one of the leading countries. So looking further, living in a digital age, people will change careers like 5 to 7 times. World Economic Forum estimates that in 10 years, 50% of jobs will change. It doesn't mean they disappear, they will have to change. So 50% of people will have to be upskilled or reskilled. How can we do that? It means that lifelong learning has to become a norm. And I think it is hardly achieved without the technology. And as Yekaterina said, technology is also then a tool to solve social inequality. When we transform our economics, we should not leave our society, we should not leave any person behind. So the goal is clear, the need for EdTech is evident. So just as Edgaras Jaselionis said before, we just need now to make a tangible commitment to make it happen. And we should, of course, follow sustainably that commitment. The second precondition for pushing the idea forward is to have empathy. In order to sustain a change, it is crucial to be open and realistic. We have to admit that for those at the epicenter of change, it may be hard. And as my colleague Vilma said, it can be scary, it can be frightening, because it requires stepping out of the comfort zone. So almost everyone will be affected. Teachers, students, pupils, everyone will be part of it, so all of them have to be on board. Of course, as everyone understands, technology will not replace the teachers, but they would enable them to revolutionize education. So as Ruta Krasauskienė also mentioned, only when teachers know how to use the tools, they can achieve the results. If they don't know how to use the tools, then they're just useless. So teachers need to be shown the value of technology, and they need to know how to use it. And as Marco offered, there is a perfect structure to make this happen. A third precondition is, of course, communication, because we need that in order to create a shared narrative. And a shared narrative, it does help to make the bridges between different opinions. It helps to establish a common ground, and it makes it ensures the lasting change, especially for EdTech, because as you said, it's not a top-down approach. It is a grassroots initiative. You go from bottom, you go up. So, of course, it's very important to communicate. It's great that you're sharing your stories. It's great that you're doing this event. It does help to create a joint culture, and when you have a lasting culture, it ensures that the change sticks. So here, I really liked your, Vladas, your phrase that it's not a rocket science, let's just make it happen. So let's make it happen. Moving on to the fourth precondition is a support structure, so a network. Great leaders can do a lot, but to sustain a change, they have to have a community. They need people that enables to learn from each other, motivate each other, and even when some individuals leave, the network remains strong. So strong network or ecosystem, also as Mark Aro talked, it ensures that no ideas are stuck in the bottlenecks. And this ecosystem, this network, is the best example and illustration that the whole is greater than just a sum of its parts. Moving to the fifth precondition, it is preparedness to manage uncertainty. And only by being flexible, adaptable, experimenting, learning from our failures, learning of failures of the others who already tried what we are doing now earlier, we can achieve good results. And of course, regulatory sandboxes, pilot projects, they are the best tool to manage uncertainty without putting a lot of effort on the system and then just spreading the good results further. Lastly, we have to be prepared for the never-ending process. Even when the goal is reached, it takes effort to sustain it. So as Albinas Doberas said very rightly, very accurately, it's like a plane. If we stop, we will fall. So once we start, we should keep flying. So in the end, I would like to say that now we have a unique opportunity to transform our country through transforming education. We don't need good climate, we don't need natural resources if we have skilled people. And it's not only about the workforce or about GDP or about economics, it's also about the empowering people to find their full potential and live up to that. So I would like to conclude by the famous proverb, the difficult we do immediately, the impossible takes a little longer. So only by doing the most difficult today, I believe we can achieve the impossible in the future. I wish you and all of us the best of luck in that.